First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me. Really, it's really
Thanks to
impressive
you.
because I believe that people like you, maybe you don't know it, it's making a little but big difference in Italy. Since you're allowing people like me to talk and to talk about music, about metal music, and this is something that doesn't happen every day in Italy. So thank you. I enjoy so much drumming. I enjoy a lot, hanging out with people, talking about drums. I believe that that is what music is about. That's what drumming is about. Talking and sharing. Yeah. If you I mean, all the history of music, all the evolution comes from sharing ideas.
Exactly.
Every style has been, influencing something, another thing. Maybe a lot of things we don't know, they've been influenced by other stuff that we cannot even imagine. So sharing, it's everything. So
Yeah.
it's normal, thank you. Okay, first of all, the extreme metal scene has been changing a lot during the last 5 years. And, I don't think I belong so much to the modern metal, extreme metal scene, because it changed so much from what it was in the beginning that I felt like I'm a kind of old school extreme guy, I would say, because I came from Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, and all the 19 death metal bands. So I would say that I was in the middle when things changed, and today I'm not listening a lot to modern death metal because I think it has lost a little bit of soul. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I have nothing against any new band. Totally. I mean, I like it, but I love so much the old stuff because I believe before all the Pro Tools came, before all the super triggering, and what I like the most is the old stuff. I mean, not so old. I mean, I'm talking about the Morbid Angel, the Cannibal Corpse period, also some Nile stuff. Hate Eternal, these kind of bands I really like. For me, it was a natural thing that came because I think we cannot choose what we listen to. I mean, it's like music one day just comes out. Yeah. It's like I still remember, my first extreme things. For example, it was the Guns N' Roses. You would say what? Yeah, for me, because I was, when you're a kid, you're always listening to what goes on the television. So you always Eros Ramazzotti. Totally respect Laura Pausini, but the first time I heard Guns N' Roses, for me it was like, oh my God, and also the band that were looking like,
extreme.
Yeah, this is so extreme. People screaming, all the solos and crazy stuff. So it was my first, step into rock music. After a couple of months, I started, to love rock music. I was, going to the CD store, and when we used to go in the CD store, and like going and search for, CDs without knowing actually the bands, just, the cover.
The picture.
Yeah, and that's how I got into the Sepultura, and this was something that...
It's a big step from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, it was. But, I remember that the guy from the store, it was like, I was born in São Paulo in Brazil. And he was like, dude, I have a band. Maybe he wanted just to sell the CD, of course. He was like, dude, you have to check this Brazilian band out. I mean, this Sepultura. I was like, yeah, come on, let me see the cover, Chaos AD. So it was like all weird. I was like, yeah, I want to buy this. And, okay, from that moment, I remember I put the CD on. Everything changed forever. I'm not kidding. And I still remember, my father that day, because I was listening to the CD all day long, with maximum volume. My parents were already starting to get annoyed. And I still remember my father, he said, I'm sure, this is something, in a week you will not listen to it anymore. And after 15 years, I'm still listening to it and I'm still loving it so much that, I tried, so many times to change. This is a cool topic because in Italy, especially when I started to play, there was not really respect at all for this kind of music. So you were always treated like a kind of stupid guy. Yeah. You don't like jazz, so you're... come on. And for years, I want to say something honestly. I never played or never studied because I wanted to become a professional musician. This is just funny because I always thought I was never be able to be a professional musician. I mean, because I was playing metal, everybody told me you're not going to live making metal. So I was, yeah, okay, but I like metal. So my choice was like, should I study jazz because everybody's telling me that jazz music is cool? I mean, I respect it That don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying bad things, nothing bad against nothing. It's just like, what should I do? Should I study stuff that I don't like because somebody else is telling me what to listen to, or should I go with what I like? You know, I tried to, because I tried, you know, I studied in many schools, and I studied also jazz. This is funny. I studied some jazz, some samba, because I wanted, you know, I want to get educated. But it was like something inside me, you know. It's like, I believe that the first CD that we love in our life, he will keep staying there in some way. Even if you will change the music you like, this CD will always, it's like kind of print in your soul and your way of playing. So that's why, I mean, I still play nervous all the time. I mean, I came from that kind of music. And, you know, I started because I love music. That's the point. And I started to study metal with metal teachers because I wanted to get better playing metal. That's it. And then a funny thing happened. Like you get treated like a kind of a freak, and someday people realize that you did your own way, and suddenly you start touring Europe, and people from other countries are into your stuff, and they call you for playing outside Italy. This is funny because I never thought. I mean, I dreamed about it, but I was not so sure that it was going to be happen. And this year, actually, many things started to really be as a dream. I mean, now I feel I'm a lucky person because I'm living a dream, actually, you know. And also being here, you know, talking about drums with people there, and maybe other people is playing, maybe they like metal music, and everybody's telling you that you should play jazz, or maybe you play jazz and everybody's telling you to play rock. I would say play what you like, and don't care about what people is saying, because just be happy. I mean, just enjoy. This is life. I'm not sure this was the point of the question, but I mean, the topic is so interesting that because, you know, we live in Italy, and for all people who's watching us from, you know, somewhere else in Europe, Italy is a cool place for many things, but we are not an open-minded country. We are always, you know, we are a kind of a fighting country. Everybody's fighting with each other. And what happened in Italy is that for many years, we had only the jazz and pop teaching drum thing, you know, only pop and jazz. And what happened is that now there are too many of these drummers, and they cannot work because there is too many drummers and too less bands to play with. So it happened the opposite of what it was supposed to be. And also one thing that really changed, and I want to tell the people, is like finally the Italian brands or the Italian distributors understood that metal drummers are the guys who are buying more stuff. I mean, we are breaking them. So now they understood that it's not with jazz players that you're going to make money, because they don't break cymbals as much as we do. You know, we are breaking everything: cymbals, sticks, drum heads. And I mean, some people I know they broke pedals also. So this is and they are metal people. So now they start to to understand the fact that, I mean, you can't ignore 30 years of music. You can't. I mean, even if you don't like, come on. And this was so funny because like 10 years ago, even with 20 years of history, they were like, yeah, this kind of music, for kids.
Just underground.
Yeah, 20 years. I mean, can you imagine now 30 years of music constantly growing and constantly pushing? I mean, metal music, you can like it or not, but the fact is that metal people is the only people that are really inventing something now. I mean, I mean, if you see so many bands like Periphery, I don't know if you know the band Periphery, or Meshuggah, or
Animals of Cities.
Yeah, absolutely. Bands that are playing metal with fusion, and they are now playing old times. I mean, come on. And people for so many years they were like, this something is not important because something crazy. Just try to see. I mean, this is something I want people to think about. Think about Sanremo, and think about Gods of Metal.
Yeah.
I mean, they try to ignore some music that thousands of people are going there and paying a lot of money. We had no exposure on national television or radio. And this is so fucking big. I mean, Iron Maiden played in Italy, Slayer, and it's full of people with nothing going on the television. So I think you cannot really ignore. I mean, this is so stupid to think that music is not important. People, I mean, there is people that can kill for metal music, and that this is something really. I mean, this is soul of the music. And now it's cool because I think they're starting to get it. They are starting to. They still don't respect really the music because maybe they don't know actually why the music came, and it's something, you know, they never understood why Iron Maiden came, why all the Napalm Death, the grindcore scene came, you know, the death metal scene. They just think it's noise, but they know we can make money go. Getting back into the brand thing, I want to say something is very important. When I started, you know, after some years I got a very cool support from Minor Symbols, and I must thank them a lot because they took me out of nothing, and they helped me, you know, they supported me so much. You know, always giving symbols, I was breaking everything, and I would never be able to do what I did without their support. And today, you know, I feel I'm very lucky because I have many brands helping me out, such as, I mean, Evans drum heads. They helped me for the entire tour, you know, providing me drum heads all the time because I was smashing a lot of, but I didn't smash any. And I had many drum heads, but I didn't break one actually. This was a kind of weird tour. No cymbals break. I didn't break any cymbal. I didn't break any drum heads. Many drumsticks, of course. And also, what I want to say is I have a new endorsement deal that actually came out like a couple of months ago after, you know, I left my old brand of pedals, and now I'm endorsed by Trix Drums USA. And I'm really happy about, you know, all the endorsement things because this is important. They help me to play without thinking about anything else. I don't have to think about, you know, breaking stuff. I don't have to think about nothing. And this is what the endorsement deal is about. I mean, I think about playing. And if something breaks, they help me out. This is the point. And they help me, you know, if I go to Germany, I also endorsed by Drumcraft Drums. And if I go to Germany, I have a drum set there, you know, for the tour. And this is important. I mean, this is something the guys should also understand. Having an endorsement deal is not only about having your picture somewhere. I know this is cool, and when I was younger, this is also for me, you know, very cool. But it's about, you know, having something for you to play better, or to, you know, to have the chance to live. Because I would never be able to do tourings without the support of those companies. Because if I have to pay by myself and ship all the stuff to another country,
it would be too expensive.
Yeah, no way you can earn money. No way. I mean, can you imagine going in the airport with 40 kilos of cymbals and 100 kilos of hardware and drums? I don't think it would be. It's something. I mean, it's not easy, and I must thank my band. You know, Chaos Wave. We've been together for 7 years now. We took a break just, you know, because having a band is like having a wife. So after 7 years, maybe you need, you know, a period. And we toured almost everywhere, you know. But I mean, we did from the smallest tours to the biggest tours. Always, you know, putting money by our pocket. So we really put everything we could in the band, and we started going, you know, up and down. And I believe it's just a matter of communication. I mean, if you tour, it's always important to leave a message or to leave something, to take contacts. This is something for all the musicians. If you behave like a dick, you will never get somewhere. I mean, what we did and what I did was just, I'm touring, so I meet you. Hey man, so what's up? I'm going, next time I go there, maybe I go to do a drum clinic in your house. In your house. Yeah, maybe, you know, not in your house. In your drum school or in your rehearsal room. Yeah, maybe in your house. I did a drum clinic in a house once. It was kind of weird, but that's another story.
You have to do everything.
Yeah, I mean, music, I believe, you know, music is something special. And when you meet people like we do today, when we talk about this is something very special, and this is something related to the music. Because music, you know, is something that puts people together, you know, and they share ideas, they talk about, this is cool, because music, I mean, if I was not playing drums and you were not playing drums, we would never maybe have met, and we will never have the chance to talk about it. So I believe it's communication, musically wise, and also personal wise. This is something important. I always being a big fan of social networks, about technology. I'm a big fan. So when YouTube came out, I was one of the first guys to put a cover, a kind of a metal drum cover on the internet. It was not very well recorded, you know, but still it was one of the first. So it was why it was one of the most viewed in on YouTube. Actually, it's a Slipknot cover. You know, it's many years ago, but it has more than 100,000 views, and for Italy, it's a lot. Only because it was one of the first. Then what happened is like I was studying drums with many metal drummers in Brazil, and I was learning stuff that you could not learn in the school. So I said to myself, yeah, and my teachers told me, dude, now you're studying so many years with us, you have the knowledge to teach what we teach you, because nobody was talking about double bass, blast beats and stuff. So I told myself, yeah, maybe I should start doing it, and that's what I did. I was working with a magazine at the time was called Percussioni, and I decided to put how can I say an article about blast beats. A funny thing, that article came out 1 month before the Modern Drummer article about blast beats. So it was kind of really before, and I felt, well, this is something is happening. Something is happening. Of course, when you do this, you have to accept that most of the people will think, what the fuck is this? I mean, to be honest with you, in the beginning, I was not ready, because I was like, yeah, people, this is a new idea, check it out, and what happened was not really what I wanted. I mean, because I got many people like, yeah, this is not music, this is shit, this is blah, 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 That's now I see it's a part of its history. Everything in history happened. And so for the history of Italian drumming, when somebody started talking about those things, somebody has to take the good things and the bad things. The good things that many people reminds those articles, like the first ones. Many guys, I mean, I got an email from a guy who played with many black metal bands. He was kind of famous, and I know him. I'm kind of a fan of him, and he's not playing black metal anymore, and he left the band. And he wrote me, dude, if I play blast beats, and he's faster than I am. He's really faster than I am. He was like, dude, thank you, because I learned thanks to your article. So I was like, fuck, well, somebody was reading those articles actually, because in the beginning the feedback was not very, yeah, but after, years later, I know that many people that were too young to write a letter to Percussioni saying thank you, they were practicing. So yeah, it was an honor for me, to people is learning from what I did, because when I, when I was learning drums, maybe it in blast beat before YouTube, it's just you were not able to understand what was happening. So everybody was blasting like they tried to, and those article was the first. That article was the first one explaining all the rhythms. So this made me known in the scene, not in a very positive way, but it's like, yes, somebody's coming doing something different. You can like it or not, but he's there and he's not going to go away. That's my point. I was like, yeah, I want people to understand that this kind of music is like everything else. This was my point. And after that, I started to doing drum clinics, talking about and the feedback was not bad, not very. What people
starting to change.
Yeah, because mainly they were curious, because they were like,
what is this?
Yeah, well, yeah. Why this guy beating all the time? Why are they talking about endurance? Why you don't talk about endurance in pop music? You don't talk about that. You're talking double bass endurance, only metal music.
Yeah.
You know it, very well. And today, I feel very, very lucky also, because many young drummers like you, like many guys out there, they are playing very well. And the fact that you invite me here to talk, it's my very big pleasure, because I see, those young guys, they're really playing very better than I was when I was their age. So it's really interesting, because I don't see music as a challenge, and I see it in a positive way, because what I care now, maybe because I'm getting older, is trying to make good music. Actually, that for years I tried. I was practicing all the time. Now I just care, about making the best songs I can from the bands I play with. In this moment, I'm sessioning with many bands, so I know it can sound a little bit weird, but I'm working on to find a new band to do what I love, that is making music. I'm getting more and more into other things. Also, I still love, of course, but I'm getting, for example, I had I spent 2 weeks with John Macaluso, the drummer from Ark, Malmsteen, and James Labrie, and it was an amazing experience. No blast beats for 2 weeks, but all the crazy linear, and I was like, wow. And I started playing that. I started incorporate that stuff. So why I'm kidding? Because I don't play fast all the time now. I liking so much the old time feels and everything. But it's part of the job. I will never. If you see me playing in a kind of a very sellout band, you can kick my ass. But I will try to stay as honest as possible with the people that like this kind of music also. The first thing I try to understand is what is needed for a tour. I mean, endurance, power, speed, because I've been doing really different kind of stuff. For example, in February I was touring with Visions of Atlantis. It's a symphonic band from Austria. It's basically just hitting as hard as you can. Basically it's really hitting hard. So yeah, actually what I do is I learn the song. I chart the song actually. I write everything down. This is really important because I don't have enough memory to learn 15 songs from one day to another. So I write everything down. And yeah, if the tour needs hard hitting, okay, I will go there and every day play the songs. Like I would play the set 3, 4, 5, 6 times until I'm just dead. And I try to play every song like it's in a show. So it's funny because I try and I practice everything I would play in a show. If in a show I will play twirling, I will practice doing the twirling. I will try to practice with a drum set that is similar of the one that I will use on tour. I'm just trying to get into. So when I will play, I do something. I'll do things that I did already. I don't leave anything. I mean, if I will play some changes, before, in the years ago, I was always changing drum parts, but now not anymore because not every people like the fusion kind of thing happening all the time. So if the things have to be simple, I will stick with it. If, for example, I'm going to play the new Abomination tour in November, the European tour, this is interesting because the CD was recorded in 1992, I guess, and I was 10 years old when they recorded the CD. So it's funny to be in the reunion. And the CD, the drummer at the time, actually, it was is kind of a pioneer. It's interesting because at that time they were trying to play some things without really knowing what was happening because there was no really way to learn. Maybe I don't know if you felt this in the beginning. Where to learn.
Exactly.
So he was trying some cool rhythms, but it wasn't really. What I had to do is learn the songs and try to understand what he wanted to play and play them now in time. Because some parts are not really no metronome, so some fields are like you don't get what's happening. So what I had to do is learn what he wanted to do and try to play it my way, but still respecting the original part. And for example, the Abomination tour requires a lot of double bass, really all the time happening, all the time. So I didn't start the practicing for the tour already. I will start 1 month before, and I would be playing double bass every day as much as much as I can because. Metal music is kind of when you play live, you can slow down. You have only or to stay in time or speed up. Live performances, metal or hardcore music. It's like people want blood. They want they want to hit all the time. So it will be very, very how can I say? It will be exhausting. And I want to say something. The funny thing is that recently I've been, I had a call from a band playing, folk music, other stuff, and they call me, because they know I can read music, so I could learn 16 songs in 2 days. The point is, I got much more money doing this kind of music, but still I keep all the tours, even if I earn less, I don't care. It's music, and I mean. In the future, I want to be able to do both because I have to start thinking about my future. If I want to be able to have a family or so, and I want to earn money playing drums, and I want to be able to do both. I would like to keep playing the stuff that I like, even if I don't earn as much money as I do with other stuff. But I don't care really. I care about playing, and sometimes there's nothing wrong with finding a way between the two extremes, like selling out or just doing your way and be poor. So what I want to do is I want to keep doing what I love and balance it with making also other gigs, because what I was thinking lately is that if somebody wants to pay me doing this kind of music, why should I say no? It's 1 gig, 2 gigs or some gigs, or maybe even a tour. I don't know. If I can do it, it's a challenge for me. And it's a way for me to prove that I am able to play other things. Maybe, I will not play them in the same way as I play metal because it's in my blood, but I will make a good job. So I want to keep that way. I will do also other. For example, I'm going to record also a CD of a rock band this month. But I want to do also the death metal gigs, so I will try to balance it, and we'll see what will happen. Because to be honest with you, I have no idea of what I will do in the future. I want to keep things interesting for me and for people who's listening to me. We'll see. Really, I don't know what will happen in the future. I'm just happy about all the things that are happening with me. Yeah. So guys, welcome to the lesson of today. What I want to talk is about blast beats, but in a different way. What I want to talk about is the differences of the blast beats and why and where did they came from. I mean, it can really sound weird for so many people to understand why this blah, 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 blah is happening. And I want to explain you why and what happened exactly and what is a blast beat and when it started. Okay, first of all, we have to understand the period. We are talking about the grindcore craft scene in the middle of the 80s, okay? So at this bands like Napalm Death and Carcass from England, they were trying to shock the world, with lyrics about, autopsy, about politics, about, all the weird stuff happening in the world. So they were, actually like screaming like nobody else. They were trying to make the most noise possible out of the music. So in the beginning, the blast beat was a kind of I would say a kind of expression of noise. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to do it. They wanted to make noise. This is interesting because it's music made for revolution. It's not music made for people, hanging out and drinking cocktails. It's music made for people, going at the show and killing themselves for the music. So in the beginning, the first kind of blast beats, they were nothing really in time. I mean, they just tried to do more notes in less time possible. That's the point. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do. Just go fast and especially with the China. This is the beginning. I mean, I don't care about We are talking about, this kind of really extreme music. What happened? People started to do this all over. Before the blast beat, there was the revolution of the skank beat. The skank beat is like this beat comes from the next step was made by Pete Sandoval. Now Pete is playing with Morbid Angel, but at the time he was playing with a band called Terrorizer, and this is in 1989. The band Terrorizer made out a CD called World Downfall, and for the first time you can hear a blast beat that has a metrical sense. Pete's blast beat was this, actually, slowly. The important thing, it has to be noisy and it has to be done with one foot only. Why? Because when Pete Sandoval started to play drums, he was a big fan of Clive Barr from Iron Maiden. And Clive Barr uses only one kick and one bass drum. So he wanted to be like the Clive Barr of the grindcore scene, and he wanted to play with one foot only. So it was unbelievable for the time. A blast beat done with a metrical sense. This is interesting. So because basically what he did was taking out a note from the skank beat. Then doubling it, okay? This is very cool because suddenly everybody started to play this way. And it was a very big revolution. So the blast beat became a rhythm and not a kind of a senseless noise. We must say something before, because there is a big argumentation about who was the first guy who made a blast beat. Some people say that Charlie Benante did. Charlie Benante is a drummer from Anthrax who was playing with a band called SOD, Stormtroopers of Death. It's a band with Billy Milano. It's a very crazy band. And actually, he was also doing a kind of a blast beat in a song. Very weird. You can hear it. I'm not sure about the name of the song. You will read it here when I be back home and check it, so I'll be sure. and Charlie was playing a kind of a blast beat. It was very noisy. I would say like it looks in the CD. You can hear really a messy, not like in the Napalm Death stuff, but it's kind of something like that. Also metrical, not so much, but also not such noisy. This thing inspired. This is very funny. A song of SOD 10 years later or 20 years later. The song is called Charlie Don't Cheat. And this song talks about Charlie Benante, who was the first guy playing a blast beat with a wrist. And the song it's funny, the song says, be a man and play with your wrist, not with a finger. This is very cool, because Charlie Benante, some people say he was the first one, but in my personal opinion, what he did was not done with the same quality of Sandoval. Nothing wrong with Charlie, he's great, but Sandoval really did it very, very good. I mean, if you hear the Terrorizer album, I suggest you to check it out. The first one is very, very well done. Okay, what happens now? The blast beat goes everywhere in the United States. The death metal scene, okay? We started with bands like Obituary, Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation. And what happens is, okay, Obituary, they don't play blast beat. It doesn't play blast beat. But if we talk about Cannibal Corpse, they had their own way to play blast beat. This is really curious because, especially for the guys like me, when I was hearing the CD, you could hear like a nuclear war happening, okay? Because what Paul does is playing 16 notes between the hands, with the hands and with the feet. And it sounds like, it is called the bomb blast because it sounds like a war. Okay, so this beat is interesting. Right hand on the snare, left hand on the hi-hat. This is the opposite of this one. You know why? This is easy. Because the first thing you do is like, just try to change. So in the normal blast beat, we have the snare in the upbeat. Instead of the bomb blast, we have the snare on the downbeat. So it's not finished yet. The band Suffocation, they tried another way to doing it. You know, if you want to do the bomb blast, you have to do it with very fast feet. Suffocation did it in this way, another way. So. Okay. Funny thing, this was called for many years the Suffo blast, like Suffocation, and this one. This was the Cannibal Blast. It's really interesting, before being called the bomb blast, because it was underground music. So people was, you know, they were hearing like the CD, yeah, the Cannibal Blast. Yeah, this is the Suffo blast. You know, many things changing. What happened next? The blast beat, it was incorporated in the black metal scene. This is really interesting. The black metal scene before, you know, it was like. Wanted to speed it up. One interesting thing they discovered is like they could double the hands, splitting the notes with the feet. So instead of doing, they could do. And with this one, you can last much longer. So for example, also very cool because many bands they started to play this way, and for example they started to be all over. Because the most extreme the better. As far as I remember, the first album with all blast beats, it's Panzer Division Marduk from a band called Marduk. I never heard anything like that before. I was like 17 or 18 years old and I was like, yeah, let's hear the first song. Let's put the second one. Okay, let's go with the third one. But it sounded very cool, very cool. All the sounds of the war, you know, machine gun, and this drum blasting all over. What happens, you know, with the years passing by, so many, you know, people were starting to use both. I would say that Pete Sandoval, when he joined Morbid Angel, he learned to play double bass. So he learned it right after the bomb. Okay, so Pete Sandoval is famous for doing both. Actually, if you check him out, he's always doing both, switching over and over. Instead, Paul from Cannibal Corpse is doing only this. And also, if you want to check somebody, for example, Inferno from Behemoth, he's playing the two-footed blast. Also, this is something cool. When the Derek Roddy book came out, the names of the blast, they were like printed forever. So you have the blast beat, the economy blast, the bomb blast. So we have something really cool. It's called the gravity blast. You know, I'm not a big fan of it, but don't know really. I'm not playing it at all, but I want to show you. It's done with the trick of the rim in the head. You know, it's like the one-handed roll. So you can hear it. It's very low, so people when do it, they really trigger. So it sounds like it's a little bit different from the others because the other ones I believe they have more power. That's why I say I'm old school guy because I like the blast beats done in that way. What else? Yeah, also bands like Dillinger Escape Plan, they invented those kind of blasts. For example, Chris Penny is doing this one. Fast. So there are many ways to play the blast beat. What I like, really I still like, is the kind of a grindcore blast beat. So you can say, what? The grindcore blast beat is this. The more noise, the better. This is what I really love. I mean, I'm a big fan of bands like Napalm Death. I love it. And I believe, I love it when it's, maybe it's slower, but I believe it's heavier. So, what I want to tell you also is that today we have many kinds of blasts. Another thing I want to show you is a kind of a slower blast beat in triplets. We do it this way. 1, 2, 3. When you are tired, but you cannot show to the people that you are resting. So what you should be, it's like you should do is like. So this one is. Next one I want to show you is like practicing accents when you do blast beats. This is really cool. I mean, yes, staying like this is cool sometimes, like. But I feel that you lose, the balls of playing grindcore. I mean, I'm a grindcore fan. Sorry, guys. I mean, I love Nazum. So what I like to do, is playing accents in the China, or playing also the whole blast with one foot and splitting with the China. So it sounds like this. I believe it sounds, much more powerful than the spray. Of course, you can play it also with the bell and with the 2-foot. One thing I want to tell you is like, don't don't squeeze the sticks. Don't try to stay relaxed, even if you're playing, with Satyricon. try to relax. And something else, I want just to give you 2 advices, blast beats. The very important thing is the volume of the snare, because if you play it too low, it will sound like this. Nothing, So. We can play with the wrist, we can play with the finger, no problems. Also, I will give you an exercise for making it clean. It's very hard. It's like this. Practice before the bass drum and the right hand. foot or 2 foot or 2 feet. It's very hard. Be able to play 1 foot or 2 feet. It's about you. Also, what you can do when you do the bomb blast beat, it's like doing a bomb and taking the hands out and see how it sounds with the feet. Like. You should be able to hear all the 16 notes going on. This is because sometimes we play. Take the hands out, you will be able to hear what is below. One important thing is that the rhythms, those patterns are very easy to write, and they're not complex rhythms. The complex thing is to play them tight and in a musical situation. This is important. I mean, this is what music is about. I want to talk about another blast beat. It's a variation. I want to talk about 2 blast beats I've been using with my band Chaos Wave. The first one is using the song 10 Years of Denial, and it sounds like this. Second one is a variation of a bomb blast, and I use it in a song of We Are Building Ruins. Actually, it's really interesting because that song never came out in any CD or LP, but you can see me playing in many videos on the YouTube. And yeah, basically, it follows the guitar rhythm. This sounds like da 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 no 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 da 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 no no no. 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Da 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 do 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 da 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 do do do. And you like. Kind of, you can see me in many videos playing it. Yeah, this is a variation of a bomb blast. Actually, I never saw anybody else doing something like this, and if you saw it, please send me an email because I want to see other people playing it, many with different applications. So, for today is everything. I want to thank you all for watching this. I hope you find it interesting as I did the first time I was watching some blast beat videos. So if you have any questions, any topics you want to talk about, just write me an email or get in touch with the Drum Brother guys, so we will be able to share ideas. This is what drumming is about. So thank you very much. My name is Raphael Saini and you're watching the Drum Brother.